Hello? Is anybody here?
Resident Evil 2 Remake was revealed at E3 2018 after much speculation and rumour about what exactly was going on with it. It was a bit of a surprise. But what exactly is the game, what's changing in the remake, and how close will it be to the original? My name's Mike Williams. I'm joined by Resident Evil aficionado Liam McKelvey.
My official title?
Yeah, I think that, well, that's what we all call you, isn't it? We don't shout Liam, we shout, hey, Resident Evil aficionado Liam McKelvey. So what's Capcom told fans to expect of Resident Evil so far? What are the big kind of things that they've promised?
So the biggest thing they're saying is it is not a reboot. It is a reimagining, I guess, is what they've called it.
Yeah.
You know, they've insisted on, they've captured the atmosphere. They're staying faithful to the tone of the original game. And, it's going to be less actiony, like Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6.
Yeah,
it's going to be more about exploration, horror, puzzle solving, that sort of thing.
Is the DNA is going to be the same, but it's going to be a new game, essentially. They're building up a new game.
It might as well be a new game. The amount of new lighting, new textures. And they have said they're going to remix some of the puzzles and enemies to be, be better suited to modern day. And, a fresh twist for fans.
So this has been in development for 3 years. It's out on January the 25th next year for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows. Mm-hmm. Side note, the start of next year is looking very, very crowded.
It's going to be
good.
Packed.
It's going to be good the first quarter of next year. So they had 2 trailers at E3. One was kind of more of a cinematic. The other one's more showing off more gameplay.
Yep.
They also had a playable demo on the E3 show floor, impressions of which have been very positive. Give you a taste of some of that. WCCF Tech said that even in Resident Evil 2 Remake's early phases, the development team at Capcom are capturing that signature survival horror feel while crafting together an experience worthy of being showcased on the latest consoles. It's a passion project that fans have been asking for. Tech Raptor's Nick Myler said it was everything I wanted and more, and this is what a proper remake/reboot should look like. So the impressions have been glowing for it from some corners, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of details, the camera is probably the biggest single change, I think. So they've moved to
definitely.
Tell us about that.
So instead of the fixed camera that you had in the original Resident Evil, this one is over the shoulder, much like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
But they've said it's not going to be nearly as actiony as Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
They do have a reason for it, though.
Well, I think that the original game is they were like CCTV cameras, if you imagine, almost, where you had just in corners of the rooms and corridors and stuff, and you'd control, they would be fixed in position. And this is a completely different thing.
Yeah, so more dynamic.
Yeah, and they think there's going to be, this is a good way of representing it in this day and age, right, and using that fixed.
So they said they went with the over-the-shoulder camera. I believe they said it captured the claustrophobic nature of walking around the hallway and being caught between a zombie and another zombie.
Yeah, you feel that closer in, kind of tighter.
Kind of throwing the fear in your face, I guess.
Yeah, well, it totally works. Not just in Resident Evil 4, the games that have emulated that, Dead Space and things, and they put you right behind the shoulder, tight claustrophobic feel, and I think it's a good fit. Interestingly, they did talk to IGN about kind of 2 producers from the game. One of them, Tsuyoshi Kanada, told IGN, "We know it's a big change to have gone over the shoulder, but we think it's perfect for the experience we want to portray." They also said that they could have gone down the Resident Evil 7 route of actually
I've gone first person,
but I'm personally, although I did enjoy Resident Evil 7 a lot, I do enjoy the fact that it's going to be an over-the-shoulder thing. It's a good fit in it.
Yeah.
So in terms of raw details, that's the biggest. There's also some talk about zombies and how the gunplay and stuff handles. Zombies apparently are very tough, and players are going to have to pick their battles, and it's the kind of game where every shot needs to count. So it is more of this survival horror thing rather than perhaps Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, where you can just
mowed them down, really.
Exactly, you just unload on them. So there's more deliberate care that needs to be taken, and you've got to pick. You try and avoid them if possible. Try and avoid the zombies if possible. You can play as both Leon and Claire in the full game with entirely different campaigns, right?
Yeah. So in the original Resident Evil 2, you had, of course, Leon and Claire, who were the 2 playable characters. They had the thing called the A and B scenario. So depending on which character you played first, then when you played the next character, things would be different. They'd take a different path, different story beats. This time, they've ditched that. The A and B scenario thing is gone.
Okay.
They are two separate, distinct campaigns, but they will, cross over at certain story points.
There'll be overlap, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also play as Hunk and Tofu.
You can. Again, original Resident Evil 2, there was a extra game mode called The Fourth Survivor, which had you play as Hunk, who is a fan favourite character. He's like a mercenary for Umbrella. He's the one in the gas mask and the black armour.
Yeah.
Quite a distinctive character now in Resident Evil.
With a hilarious name.
He's coming back, and so is Tofu, who is literally a giant block of tofu, and it was a bonus game mode.
That is amazing.
Yeah, he was a giant block of tofu, and he had a knife.
Watch out, zombies.
You had to get through the game
tofu block
as
is
a bit
on
of tofu.
So tell us about some of the technical details then, if they've shared any technical details in terms of how it looks and how it's going to run.
There's been a lot of talk about how good the game looks, graphically. The fidelity is very high.
You can kind of see a glimpse of that in the gameplay trailers. It does look very nice.
It's a very, very sharp looking game. But they've confirmed actually it's running on the RE engine, which is the one that powered Resident Evil 7. So that like a photorealistic almost graphic style. They've done full motion capture. They've done reworked the lighting system, and they have a very disturbingly detailed gore system, which was very
and what's that system called, Liam?
They called it the wet gore system.
Gore system.
If that wasn't disgusting enough, they've gone for all out on
They're calling it wet gore, so that sounds awesome. The GameSpot have actually got a headline about this. Resident Evil 2 Remake takes gore to new levels of gross. It's a game called Resident Evil about zombies.
It's about zombies and viruses mutating people. Yeah. It's going to be a bit gnarly, isn't it?
And and that's the right, gnarly is the right word. It always, the whole series is in different ways, and the bloody Ouroboros virus and stuff, it's always like grotesque type monstrosity things, so
I mean, it is a horror game after all.
Yeah. So, but calling it wet gore, that's amazing. So what else do we know on a technical level?
They've said they're going to have different graphical modes for the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. Brand manager Mike Lunn of Capcom, he said they're going to have a 4K mode with a target frame rate of 30 FPS, and then a performance mode which is like 1080-60, but again they can't guarantee it yet because they're still developing the game, so they can't guarantee it.
That's very much the kind of thing they will be optimizing right up until the wire, until the game goes gold, even till day one with day one patch type stuff, because that's just the way it goes. You've got two different sets of hardware to try and tweak and maximize per platform now, so 2 for PlayStation, 2 for Xbox. So I think that's all pretty standard. You can have a nice looking lower frame rate mode or a more of a performance mode. That
sounds kind of similar to Shadow of the Colossus. That did the same. That did a performance mode and a visual mode.
It's almost something that you kind of expect now, something that you would anticipate before without them even saying anything really. So the producers, like I touched on earlier, Yoshiaki Hirabayashi and Tsuyoshi Kanada have done interviews, and they've been speaking to Rely on Horror. What do they have to say to them?
They had quite a lot to say. It was a very in-depth interview.
Probably the biggest one that I've seen, to be honest. Just kind of at a glance.
They asked them what was their intention behind the remake and stuff like that, and they were saying they're big fans of the original game. They wanted to reimagine it, bring it to a modern day audience essentially, while retaining the spirit of the original, designing it in a way so it can be enjoyable for newcomers and Resident Evil aficionados.
Which is really important, because there's going to be a lot of people who missed it. There's going to be a lot of people who have played games since childhood but just never touched it, and it's held up as one of the classics, as one of the greatest.
The original's one of my favourite games of all time.
So it's important that they get it right for the fans who've been who want to have that kind of same experience, that same feeling again, but also so the people who never touched it. So it's a delicate balancing act. What else do they have to say?
They were asked about how are they handling the reception to the game, and they said they were just very happy. Couldn't have been happier with the reaction to it.
It has been very positive.
Yeah.
In terms of reception, I think what I like is the way that they the way the trailer, that kind of bait and switch thing at the top of the trailer,
first person.
They were pretty pleased with how that kind of panned out, and how everyone thought it was a kind of misdirect insert.
They were very clever.
Yeah, they did indeed. What else they got?
So they confirmed Shusaku Uchiyama, who worked on the original game as a composer. He's he's coming back, which is good because Resident Evil 2 has some very iconic music going on.
Does. I like that they are not just going to take that and remaster it, but the composer is back in.
He's making some fresh stuff.
Embellish it and somehow maybe, just kind of revamp it in some way. So that's cool.
Some other things they said, the game has a lot of backtracking in it, which they compared to a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
So they said you're going to have to revisit areas quite a lot, come back with keys, solve puzzles.
Yes.
Just come back when you've got better equipment, you can get past an area, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So very true to, the original Resident Evil formula of wandering around and just Metroidvania gameplay, really.
The bottom line is, how close is it going to be to the original, I think, isn't it? And how faithful of a remake is it going to be? Because it does sound like they're taking creative license with a lot of stuff, and they're gonna just change the way it plays out in a lot of cases. They've said the story is broadly going to be the same,
largely the same, yeah.
But it's they are going to be doing different things. Like we've already discussed in this video, they're going to tell it in different ways. They've literally changed the camera view. They're changing the way that the two kind of parallel stories work. They're doing all these different changes to it, but still it's going to be a similar thing. Yoshiaki Hirabayashi told IGN, as a team, as a whole, we wanted to make something that was familiar and fresh at the same time, and it would retrace the beats of the original game while bringing something new. So that's another interview that they're repeating this line, this mantra of like, it's going to be familiar, and the people who love Resident Evil 2 are going to love this, but also it's going to be something new.
Love it as well.
It's going to be worth playing again. It's going to be a new thing. I think this is pretty cool how this is becoming more of a trend now, where you've got like the Ratchet and Clank remake, and you've got all them PlayStation remakes like Wipeout and stuff that are just the old games but done again with today's technology.
Yeah, but modern tech. Yeah, it's very cool.
And now they're kind of pushing it creatively, kind of as well. Like they're going, well, maybe we could move the camera a bit, and they're starting to mess around with it and try and do something different, which I'm excited about. I think it's a cool thing. It's not the only remake that's coming up. We've got Spyro.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. We've got Final Fantasy VII, which is probably the biggest, the longest, most talked about one.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm all for remakes, man. That's all I'm saying. And
same here, actually. Yeah,
I like the sounds that they're making. So that's Resident Evil 2, which was shown off at E3 2018. We know a lot about it. All of a sudden, there's loads of details about it. There's plenty of interviews online. There'll be some links in the description if you want to know more about it. If you want to watch some stuff, watch some trailers, read some articles, and get an impression of what type of game this is going to be. Remember, it's coming out in January 25th of 2019 for PS4, Xbox One, and Windows. Let us know what you think about it and what you hope it's going to be like. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. There should be another video on your screens right now if you want to watch that, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.